Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Kev, and this is another edition of Intune Hop In. Pretty much, for those who are new to the channel, welcome. But it's comics that I would definitely like for you guys to read and pick up on. Now I'm far behind on my comics, but that doesn't mean I haven't been reading my comics. Without further ado, let's talk about the three comic books we'll be getting into today. First off will be Skyward, issue 15, the final issue, which is an amazing comic, but we'll know once we get into it. Next up, we'll be talking about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, issue 41. Where was Jason, Trini, and Zack at the whole time when he left the Rangers after that, weird episode? And then finally, we'll be talking about Red Arrow, annual number 3. Finally get to know what happened to Artemis and Bizarro. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, so first of all, we're going to start off with Skyward. I told a lot of people about this comic. I think when I first read it, issue 1 had me jaw dropped from the beginning. I was so interested into this and so invested into this comic that it said that it had to end just a couple of weeks back. I think last month actually, with issue 15. Hopefully the writer, last name Henderson, will come up with more concepts for this comic, but for right now it's ended and it's sad to see it go. But within this comic, pretty much give you a background. They're set on planet Earth in our time era, where a scientist had come to an understanding that the world will eventually lose its gravity and everything that isn't tightened down real good will float in the air and people will most likely die. And what happened exactly that on I think they call it Gravity Day, is when everything just gravity let go and everybody who wasn't tied down went up into the air. So this story has seen a young girl pretty much go through a journey of her not really getting to know her mom after Gravity Day, and her dad has always been scared, so she's always known just being able to fly, pretty much, or not fly but float, glide from place to place. There is no sidewalks, there is no walking. And so further on to the story, she finds out that this evil man has been doing some stuff, and it wound up leading to her father being killed. She gets, pretty much upset, but she goes a different route about how to bring this man to justice. Now, at the beginning, it was led to believe that her mother had passed away, because you'll see it in the first issue when you go pick it up, that her mother is one of those people that get caught in going into the air and there's nothing to hold her down. And what's cool about this comic is at the end of each book, the author writes a little bit of this and the third of how he saw the direction of the book going and which way and what he had to take out and what he wanted to change, what he wanted to keep. So later on within the story, as it progressed, you'll see exactly what he means, because it was a shocking twist that surprised even me. This book isn't a superhero book, but it was one of those books where it wasn't necessarily all that action as far as being able to generate powers from their own self, but it was a journey for this girl who had to go out and just adventure. It was one of those Disney movies where she loses a parent, she loses both parents, she's going out on a journey, this, that, and the third happens, everything's all cool, and she is a hero in her own sense, in her own word, but it really isn't led to believe that. Now, leaving her name out, because I think it's important that when you read it, you get to know her personally and you get to see her personally. Right now, I think you'll be able to buy the graphic novels or trade paperbacks, because issue 1 happened last year and issue 15, like I said, just wrapped up just a couple of months ago. So Skyward issue 1 through 15 is amazing. If you're going to buy individually the comics, they're $3.99 a piece, plus wherever you live at, their tax. If you're going to buy the trade, I don't know how much the trade would be, but it's going to be what it is, plus tax. Definitely a read. Definitely something for you guys to hop in. I would like to know your thoughts, so please leave that down in the comment section below. Let me know if this is a comic that you're interested in, or if it's a comic that you did already read and was just like, wow, what an amazing comic. All right, let's move on to our next comic. Alright, up next is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 41. Now, back in issue 40, they introduced, they introduced Jason, Trini, and Zack. Now, if you are a fan of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers way back in the 1990s, about 94, I think, when did it end? I think it ended in 95. So about late 93, 1994, the Power Rangers, original Red, Yellow, and Black Ranger, left the TV show. Now, for their reasons of real life why they left is because they said they didn't feel like they were getting paid enough for all the things that they were doing. And that taught me a lesson is, if you know how much you're worth, always know that you can always find and do better elsewhere. If your job isn't going to treat you right, or if anybody isn't going to treat you right, and they're not going to treat you what you're worth and what you know you're worth, you gotta skedaddle. You gotta leave. That's what they taught me. But in the comic book world, what they did was they put a nice little twist on it. What they did was make a story out of it, and it's so great. Even though it's only issue 41 and issue 42, it just came out or is about to come out during the time of this video. It is amazing. It shows Zack, Trini, and Jason off-world being Power Rangers somewhere else. They are being called the Omega Rangers. So as you can see in that right there in that picture, Omega now, Omega forever. This is unbelievable, with the fourth Power Ranger, who I don't really know who it is because they're a new character to me, but her name is Kenya, or Kaya, K-Y-A, I'm sorry, K-I-Y-A. That's how you spell it. So however you pronounce it, that's on you. Anyway, we see what these Rangers have been doing over the course of the time of not being the Rangers. So you might be asking, well, who took their place? The same people that took their place in the TV show, Rocky, Adam, and Aisha. So those Rangers are right there, but right now they're focusing on these Rangers, and I think it is amazing. No, I don't think it is. I know it is amazing. At the end of issue 40, they gave Kimberly and Billy a phone call, and they were asking, yeah, how you guys been? How are things? And, you know, just exchanging, having a nice conversation, because in the TV show, they said they left to go handle world events to try to make the planet better. But in the comic books, they said that, but they're actually off planet doing it for the whole galaxy, really extending the name of Power Rangers, and it is amazing. Now in this issue 41, they pretty much are fighting people who have powers. So this comes straight and directly off of the Morphing Grid. If you have not read the Morphing Grid, which was pretty much issue I want to say 19 or 20 to about issue 30, maybe 40 something. I'm not really sure. I'm sorry, and I have to be accurate with it. But if you've been reading the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or if not, you can always look it up. It's always safe to do that. But the the Shatter Grid, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Shatter Grid is a great book that I think everybody should go read. But this takes place after that. So what happens is, everybody who originally weren't Power Rangers had gotten the power of the Power Rangers. So what that means is, if you were just a random somebody on a random planet, and you, out of nowhere, got these powers after the Rangers saved everybody and made everything normal, you wind up getting powers as well. And if you, not to say, weren't going to join the Power Rangers on the aid to make the galaxy a better place, they were going to put you away. Not to say that, but if you're a bad guy, if you got these powers and you're not using them for good, but you're only using them for, your self-gain, then you're in trouble, because all you ever see yourself is a god, and nobody's a god. So the Power Rangers are making sure that they stay humble. So the cool thing about it is, or what I noticed at the end of the issue, they caught this guy who thought he was a god, defeated him, and they trapped him in a container. Now, what caught my eye is, if you ever saw the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger theme song, and it opens up and Rita pops up out of this weird container thing. She's like, I've been trapped in there for 10,000 years or whatever. They use that to put the people who are doing bad things inside. Then it all comes back as all a connection. I want to let you know there are three rangers that are powerful, that are the Power Rangers. And during the course of the book, you might see them look like a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, or a Time Force Power Ranger, or a Lost Galaxy Power Ranger, or a Power Ranger in Space, or any of the Power Rangers that was under Saban costume. They constantly switching. I think the colors are blue, red, and I think pink. Blue, red, pink, or it's one. I know it's blue and red. I'm not sure about the last color, but those are the Power Rangers that handle everything else. So they're over Zordon. Like, not even Zordon knows about them. So this is amazing. It's definitely a comic book that I read and was like, couldn't wait to pick up. And I definitely can't wait for issue 42, because they're going to extend on it. They're going to give us a story that we never thought of before. And if they had did this with a TV show, I don't think my 5-year-old mind would have ever caught anything and would have understood anything that was happening. Alright, but that was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 41, Necessary Evil. And I'm telling you, you won't waste your time. Definitely go check it out. Alright, let's move on to our next comic. Finally get to know the fate of Artemis and Bizarro and Red Hood the Outlaw, annual number 3. Now, for you guys, I don't know, but for me, I've been waiting for this for the longest. A little background history, what happened, and an issue I cannot remember, and I'm sorry that I did not do that information and do the research. But in that issue was going to be the last time we see Red Arrow and Artemis, because Red Arrow shot Penguin. Batman had to fight Red Arrow because you don't do that in his city. Artemis went to go save Bizarro because Bizarro started to lose his intelligence, and the ship that he had, once he lost his intelligence, that's when they had to blow up. But there was a quantum door, and they wound up getting sucked into it, which led them to a different dimension. We don't know what dimension it is. I think they put it on the side, on the top corner of the page, but I doubt that they did that because they don't want you to know what dimension it is, so you can have these theories. Anyway, so they kind of hinted it at annual number 2, but they didn't fully go that route. But in this issue, they definitely got into it. At the beginning of the story, Red Arrow meets up with this metahuman who has the power to talk to the dead. And when he asks if he could do it, the boy said, when I do it, it normally hurts. He was like, it's not really me asking, it's really me saying that you have to do it. The boy tries to do it, but he's not able to get in contact with Artemis or Bizarro. So for Red Hood, that's a good sign because that means his friends are dead. He just doesn't know where they are. Where they are is an alternate or a different dimension where none of the heroes survived. On a particular day, they set off a bomb that took away all the metahuman powers. So to me, this doesn't make sense because Superman died within the process, but he's an alien, not a metahuman. But again, this is a different dimension, so maybe he was a metahuman and not an alien. But they don't dive deep into it. All you need to know is it doesn't make sense. Anyway, the villain that did it is one of the Justice Leaguers. And if you are keeping up with the yearly villain, you'll kind of get a hint of who it was. But I'm not giving it away. I definitely want you guys to hop in on this issue. So anyway, they land on this planet. They don't know what's going on. They're about as confused as you are. So we have a nice, kind security guy. His name is Bart. And he's going to tell them exactly what's going on. No, not really. His name isn't Bart. I don't think they ever gave us a name. Anyway, the Justice League building where they met up at is now a museum, and he's a security guard. He's walking them through. He's telling them exactly what happened on this particular day. And he said, well, if you're not going to join us, we have to get rid of you. And seeing how you guys look like capers, I'm going to have to get rid of you. So he spikes up and he does what he did to the rest of the Justice League. Now later on, you're going to see a photo of Batman. He doesn't look like he got hit. And I'm saying this because he's Batman. So why not, right? Anyway, so pretty much what happened on this planet was there was a bomb that got rid of all the metahumans' powers. So if you were a human, you wound up getting those powers. And if this rings a bell, because I had mentioned it earlier with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with the Shadow Grid, if you didn't have powers, you have powers now. And like everybody, if you ever watched any Justice League, any Avengers, they're sick and tired of all these aliens, these monsters from different planets coming down, always challenging Earth. Like we have something to prove to one another or to them. And they're like, we're sick and tired of you guys bringing these people down here, so we're going to get rid of you. This way it stops them from coming down here to mess with us. And if they feel as though they want to come down here and mess with us, instead of giving them a good spanking on their backs, we're going to get rid of them too. So that's what happens. Like I said, there's a photo, and if you can see, pause it, look at Batman. He is not hit. Everybody else is hit. Everybody else is hit. Maybe not Wonder Woman, because, you know, she's Wonder Woman. But Batman is definitely not hit. So, did he survive? I don't know. That's a good theory and thought to go on for. So, later on, a couple of years go by, and pretty much Artemis and Bizarro has come accustomed to this, but they definitely joined the rebellion, and they're going against the people who are killing capers. Long story short, they wound up defeating everybody. The quantum door was fixed by the villain that I'm not going to mention, but you should definitely read to find out for yourself. It's fixed, and Artemis and Bizarro finally go back through the door. Now, where are they going? Are they going to come back to our universe where he'll meet up with his old gang again? The world may never know. The comic ends off with, are they going to land back in our dimension? Are they going to continue on this adventure? If they're going to continue on that adventure, I believe that DC should definitely do a comic for Artemis and Bizarro. But it doesn't look like they're going to do that, so they should be landing back in our dimension. We just don't know when, and I can't wait to hear about another issue of Artemis and Bizarro, because I have come accustomed to or shown interest and invested in them since day one of Red Hood and the Outlaws Rebirth. So DC, whatever you're going to do, please bring them back. Definitely can't wait to see what y'all doing with that. Storyline is amazing. DC has been killing it with storylines. Some are a miss, some are definitely home runs. Alright. I hope you learned a valuable lesson. Well, probably not valuable, but these are definitely some comics that I feel as though most people won't give that much shine. And it's probably because the population of people actually caring for these comics doesn't really matter to them, but it matters to me, and this is my channel, and I feel as though if I want these comics to shine, because they are excellent comics. I mean, if you grew up with the Power Rangers, why wouldn't you want to know about them? I mean, if you grew up, well, not with Red Hood or anybody, but show some interest into some other comics, why not do it? And for those who are new to this channel, that's what you should expect. Me talking about comics that other comic commentaries might not be talking about on their channels. There's nothing wrong with that. They do what people are populating to, which is the main event comics. But with me, I'm talking about some comics that you might not know about, that I definitely want you to go to your local comic store and say, hey, listen, I was watching this YouTube and I want to check this comic out. They're excellent comics. Our first comic we got to talk about was Skyward. Just wrapped up last month. Definitely should go pick up the first trades. You're going to love it. It's very interesting. Then we talked about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 41. If you ever wonder what were Trini, Jason, and Zach were really doing, you're not going to find out in the TV show, but you are going to find out in the comic books, and it is amazing. So definitely go pick up issue 41, Necessary Evil, and Go Power Rangers, which is pretty much of a younger version of themselves. You'll find out that was pretty much amazing as well. That ties in kinda with this, but everything's off of the Shattered Grid anyway, so that's why. And then we learned what happened to Artemis and Bizarro and Red Hood and the Outlaw Annual number 3. If you hear noise in the background, that's because if you know me, I moved and got a house and I'm in the basement, so everything that happens upstairs. I just want to let you know that I have joined up with an amazing podcast called War of the Realms. It's an amazing podcast. I link up with them between here and there sometimes when they talk about various different things. It's a podcast, but the one that they talk about that I'm very interested in is War of the Stars, or pretty much Star Wars. I'm sorry if y'all get this and you're like, you're showing bad. I'm sorry, Chris. Anyway, those people I'm hooked up with, you should definitely go check them out. I am following them on YouTube, and so you guys should check it out. Again, it's War of the Realms. So definitely, entertainment. Definitely check out their YouTube channel. It is amazing. Where I'll be on there sometimes podcasting, and even I might give this video or videos that I'll do from the future on over to them so they can put it out there, so that other people can hopefully do what you guys are hopefully doing, which is hopping into these awesome comics. And that's all about spreading the word about comics. And also, maybe I might be interviewing a couple people. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. But I will definitely keep posting videos on my channel and also on their channel. I'm shouting them out because they gave me a chance and opportunity to join their lovely family, and that's what it's all about. Join the family on YouTube, and that's what's so amazing about it. Where I've been here. I've been kind of laid back on reading comics because, well, I got a house, I got bills to pay, but I'm still able to get my comics, I'm still able to read, and that's why I'm able to give you hop-in comics. Also, I have a 4-month that's going to be turning 5 months to 6 months. That's not really a year yet, so I can't really be, on here as much as I would love to, but I will give my best effort to try, and that is guaranteed. Well, I'm not going to hold you up anymore on this video. As always, I've been Kev, you've been you. Let's stay tuned.